Hey everybody, David here, and welcome to the ASOG podcast. Albert Einstein said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." How important is your mindset in your daily life? Are you dictating how you're going to think, feel, and act, or are you allowing others to dictate it for you? I'll be frank, we all have to deal with huge piles of BS, some more than others, and yet, while some are waiting for the storm to pass, others have learned to dance in the rain. What goes into that mindset exactly? Well, we learned just that when we sat down with Tonnika Haynes, the owner of Brown's Automotive in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Tonnika tells us how she navigates with the inevitable trials of life. Before we begin, please take a moment to hit that like button if you're on YouTube. It's quick and really helps us out. If you like our content, consider subscribing to the channel. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast listening app, make sure you're set to automatically download the latest episode so you never miss an upload. And now, here we go.
And we had time to kill. So I went to some of the museums right around the Capitol because, we own a museum up here and I wanted to go kind of chill and just see what it was all about, Mm-hmm. And so when I park, I pull in one of the parking lots and this homeless guy comes up and we start talking. So I sit there and talk to him for like an hour and 30 minutes. And I got up and started walking into the museum, and the people that were standing there were giving me the dirty eye. What in the world? And then I realized they were all giving me the dirty eye because I was talking to a homeless guy. And they, I gave him money and we talked. We had a really good conversation. It was really interesting. Turns out that he was arrested for burglary. He just got out of prison. He didn't have any money or anywhere to go. So he just got caught in this cycle. And it was an interesting conversation. But the way
halfway houses for that.
Well, they do. They do. Okay. And I gave the
unless
man
unless you're doing something illegal or illicit, you're allowed to stay at the halfway house.
Well,
until you decide
$40,
I'm either going to fight somebody or I need to get some drugs or something, and then in which case they kick you out of the halfway house.
If you did that, that would help you out a lot. You got some drugs or something or some alcohol.
I apparently need knots removed from my neck.
They're knots.
I didn't know
you have no idea. They're
David,
knots.
you are the knot in my neck. You just so stressful. You're so stressful.
I want to know what these knots feel like. I don't understand.
Do what? Are you serious?
You gotta be kidding.
I don't understand it. It's an entire segment of people that like strangers rubbing on them. I don't understand it at all. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh my God.
Lots of things don't make sense to you, but surely you can overlook this one thought process.
I understand it, intellectually. I get it. Why you would want, I don't know, the relaxation but it's still it's just the impracticality. You don't know where that person's been.
So you have no tension. You don't
know if they
grind
wash
your
their
teeth.
hands. Like, ooh, me?
Like, yeah, do you grind your teeth?
So when I get stressed, I let it all pent up into a ball, and then I swallow it and I push it way down deep inside.
So
and
you're
I just
working
let
on
it
an ulcer.
Yes.
Okay, that'll be there soon.
Listen. He just silent treats us all. Like everybody in his life, he silent treats. If it gets bad, he just doesn't talk to any of us. He just I've even got pictures where his whole face shrivels up, like he ate something really sour. He's super pissed off, and he's just like, "Yeah, screw you guys, I'm going home."
So I do that all day.
Well, hold on. I do not do the "I'm going home" thing. I will argue until somebody quits. It's not going to be me.
Something tells me you take your ball and you go back in the house.
I don't. I never take my ball and go home. I let them. You can keep arguing, keep throwing stuff. I want to argue right back, and it's just going to go back and forth and back and forth. Every single time I get into an argument, I'll concede the point if I'm losing. But
can I tell her the van story? Can I tell her
what
the
van? Which van?
Where you wrecked the Aerostar because the Patriots lost?
No, what are you talking about?
Let me go get me a drink.
Yes, you need a drink to hear this story.
So you smash stuff.
No, I do not smash things.
You're a with his kids, Homer smasher.
No, absolutely. Look, I am being grossly mischaracterized here. I don't do any of those things.
Listen, he had his kids in the van, right? And he's lecturing his kids. The man's giving his children a lecture about what clothes you should or should not wear and why you should or should not wear the clothes if the Patriots lost. And in the process...
No. Hold on. This is where I smashed into the lady. First off, it's not an Aerostar. Never will you catch me in an Aerostar. Well, maybe the old, like really old rear-wheel drive Aerostars is kind of cool. But I drive an Astrovan before an Aerostar. Never an Aerostar. Ugh. And it was the conversation was about loyalty. That's what the conversation was about. It's about remaining loyal, and it wasn't even about loyalty. It was about standing up for yourself and making sure that you were your own person and not to just follow the trends, because everybody in the school was wearing Chiefs gear, and my wife just insisted. She's like, "Oh, she's going to be the weird one." So let her be the weird one. So what? Let her be confident in her weirdness. Let her walk in there confident that she's not the one wearing the Chiefs. Because at our house we don't root for the Chiefs. We root for the Patriots, and then that's it. That was the point. No, she didn't want her to be the weird one. So that turned into an argument with my wife, and then I was not paying attention, and I ran into another car.
So you were telling
kids a lecture.
No, my daughter wasn't even in the car. Yeah, exactly. And my daughter wasn't even in the car. Wagon. My son was. I hit a
Don't jump on the bandwagon. Hit the other wagon.
But it wasn't even that. I wasn't paying attention. I often don't pay attention when I'm driving, which is why I am embracing autonomous vehicles. The minute that they have you don't have to do anything, just get in the pod and hit buttons to take you wherever it is you want to go, I will buy that. I'll be the first person to buy that. And if I get smashed up because it decides to make a left and hop a curve and go into oncoming traffic or fly off a cliff, it's whatever. I'm well insured.
Is she there? Where'd she go?
I was gone for a second. I was disconnected. I didn't quit. I'm here. It kicked me out.
She rage quit.
She rage quit.
I quit.
You say that. I don't know how many times I walk into my shop and I don't see somebody, because we're loosey-goosey on lunchtime. So it's like, hey, when it's lunchtime, just go. Just make sure you make it back in an hour or whatever. So people just leave. And they get to a stopping point on a car and then they just go. And so I come out and I'm like, hey, did Brendan rage quit today? What else, Brandon? And I think Chris rage quit today. Just, it's every single time. It's rage quit. We just assume. Not, hey, so-and-so went to lunch. It's so-and-so rage quit. They're gone.
I'll be back
looking
tomorrow.
That's it. I'm looking for the picture of the dinner at Kansas City so I can send it to her so she can see.
Now hold on. Now I knew a picture was coming.
So beautiful,
isn't it? Though
a picture. I knew the picture was happening. The whole point. Everybody's smiling, and I do stupid stuff because I think it's funny, and so and I'm the only one laughing. I get it, but still, I think it's funny, and so I thought it'd be funny to have everybody smiling. There was this big group picture, and me in the background, just mean mugging the crap out of Lucas. So that's what we did. That's what I did. And so they caught the picture.
I like it.
There you go. See?
It worked out well.
Bromance.
That's exactly right. And don't you forget it either.
I'm jealous.
So I gotta know.
Of the bromance.
I gotta know. How do you become the most successful shop owner in North Carolina? Your people love you and everybody around you loves your shop, and the people at IGONC are like, hey, listen, we got to have her as a member because she is our entire industry in the state. This chick's doing awesome. How in the heck did you do it?
Yeah, I have no idea. I didn't even know it was that serious, man. I just love people. I really do love my customers. If I don't like you, you know it. It takes a whole lot. So, I really introduce myself as me. I'm here to help. I like people. I like old people, young people. The 30-year-olds, I don't like them that much anymore right now, but I'm learning to love them. What's the point not to? It is, I get the knots because all of the stress I take on from the people, but it makes me happy. I'm there all day, so I might as well be happy doing it and make a couple friends.
I mean,
I
no
go to
joke.
the bank. I go to the bank.
You go to the bank for your friends?
No, I just leave.
I gotta go. Them still. Well, because I don't allow people to come in with the attitude of customers always right. Do this for me. Me. I need this now. I need it yesterday. It's all your fault. You're not doing that at Brown's Automotive. I'm sorry. So I kind of nipped that in the bud early with a little humor, a little sass. Hey, I can help you out. Can't do what you want me to do, but this is what we can do.
Hold on. This is some BS. If I sass somebody, I'll get punched.
If you sass somebody, you'll get punched. You will. But I tell you, you're not me.
There's a double standard here.
Well, I get that. That's my point here. The attitude and the sassiness. I'm a character. It's a whole character.
Yeah, listen, he ain't. Let me promise you this. He's got lots of things. Character ain't one of them.
Don't say that. He's got that voice, and he's probably melting customers' hearts with that voice. I read stuff with the David Roman voice.
You got the wrong voice. I don't know what I'm just talking about. I sound like I'm congested always, and it's a garbled mess.
I sound like the countryest chick in the world. What are you talking about? Do you hear me talking?
Lucas sounds like the countryest chick in the world.
No.
You dang right. I'm the countryest chick in the world. Listen, don't you hey, don't you be giving her my title. Come on now.
I ain't got a problem with it. It's just, I don't know. I've become a character that I wasn't aware of until I start focusing on trying to get reviews, because it became a big deal to have reviews.
Yeah.
And then it's like, who is it? Sally, whatever, the lady. They love me. They really love me. It's really cool.
Sally Fields, yeah.
Yeah, that lady.
Yeah. So you don't find it exhausting, though?
It is exhausting. So you probably don't know this. My dad has had this shop since I was 3. So a lot of my customers, some of those people are like dead, but a lot of my customers have known me since I was young. And so I can freely be myself. And so there's one customer, he's a mess. He's funny. I love him. He asked me one day, and he's white dude. I think he's about 60. Stacey's about 60 years old. He's like, hey, do you ever get tired of all the juking and jiving? And I was like, yes, sir, massa, I do. And he was like, you're crazy. But it is tiresome, but it gets me through the day, dude. I'm just like, my car's out front.
We're gonna so I'm not gonna get
yeah, you're gonna have to like get rid of that. I'm sorry. Beep, bleep. Nobody's gonna be like, oh my God.
What are you talking about? That's gonna be the clip. Gonna be the clip.
You can jive it all day. Yes, sir. Absolutely. So I say yes, sir, absolutely, and alrighty all day long. But if I start out like that and I'm having a crappy day, you just kind of fake it till you make it. And I just dance throughout the whole day. Like, I don't know. I guess you guys do follow me on Facebook. My mom danced in Mother's Day
for years.
My mommy, did y'all see that? My mom was dancing all day Mother's Day. It's hilarious. You got to go back and look on Mother's Day. But that's me in the shop, because I got to work and the guys were like, you do that all day. Like, I walk outside, they're listening to whatever, country, western, trap music. I have no idea. But I'm just going to stop and bust a move because, dude, we're like really blessed.
Boy, you gotta.
Yeah, I gotta bust a move. It's either like a praise dance, like, all right, we're finna work this out. These cars are leaving on time. Or it's gonna be like, you know what? Forget everybody. Our cars are out front. We're going home. It's just,
amen. I love that. I love that.
Like, that is awesome. Like, if you come in with an attitude and it's like, you know what, Tonnika, your cars are running fine. You really don't have to do this. And I'm going to smile at you and say, hey, yeah, no.
My staff always laughs at me because one of the things that I do, like, I've got this thought process that I'll put in place because I'm grouchy, right? I'm just a grouchy dude. And so, like, I go through Chick-fil-A in the morning and they mess up my order, right? And until you try and order keto
Chick-fil-A
food
does
all the
not mess
time.
up orders,
Chick-fil-A
sir.
never messes up an order. Man, you about to be something else, Roman.
See? That wasn't me.
Hey,
They never mess up an order.
Chick-fil-A does not mess up orders.
I'm
That's
using
what I
them
just
as
said.
an example. I'm
No,
using
Why would you
that-
pick
okay.
Chick-fil-A, though? You don't
That's
pick
God's
Chick-fil-A.
McDonald's. McDonald's doesn't ever get the order right. So we'll use
can say
McDonald's as an example. Okay?
Don't mess with
McDonald's
God's
is
chicken.
fine.
Yeah, we ain't gonna mess with God's chicken. I agree. It's really good. Our Chick-fil-A's been closed for like 8 weeks now. They are remodeling the Chick-fil-A to make it more efficient. And my wife and kids are really upset about it. Very upset about it.
clutching
And my
my
wife, she
pearls.
uses the ice. She uses the ice to make her drink. So we buy a bag of ice once a week. And she
Yes.
doesn't want any other kind of crushed ice. She wants
No.
their crushed ice.
Because it's really like hospital ice.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's really good. But
Mhm.
they mess up my order and I say, this is the worst thing that happens today. Everything's going to be all right. And then when I cut my finger off at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, if this is the worst thing that happens today, everything's going to be all right. Yeah, it is a mindset. David, you need to listen up, buddy, because this could change your life.
It is a mindset. It's a battlefield of the mind. Mindset is important. I mean, because I would flip out. I really had to stop listening to certain music on the way to work because by the time I got to work, I'll stab you. So I'm listening to podcasts or a whole lot of Dave Matthews Band, like Ant Smarkin.
Hang on.
Yeah.
I got to know, are you listening to this podcast?
I am listening to this podcast. And I am listening to Remarkable Results Radio.
Oh, man. Carm's awesome.
A little bit of, what did I call the guy the other day? The 800 guy?
180 Biz?
Yeah, 180 Biz is 800 guy. So it's a mindset. I'm choosing to go into work, smile a whole lot until my face hurts, dance a little bit, and hit my numbers.
There you go.
That's admirable. I don't know how. I can't do it. I can do it for like. I can dance. Yeah, some music comes on. And you're like, yeah, it's my jam. But I'm talking about like being like very nice and over that. That's what I told my service advisor. I said, look, I can stand up there and smile, and everybody's my friend. I'll cut it up, and I'm like, I am exhausted. Like
it is
5 minutes into the conversation, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. Because I'd prefer they like just throw the keys at me and I wave and they wave back and we just kind of understand each other. They leave and then I fix their car and they come, they pay me, we're done.
It's because you ain't from the South.
People are too people-y for you.
Yeah,
they're too people-y. I'm not a high I. You sound like a high I.
I need to take that test. I keep reading about it. I haven't taken it yet.
Profile.
Yeah.
So I need to know what I need.
Yeah. I need to take that.
You're a high I. I can tell.
What do you have to smoke to become?
But then I'll get home and I'm done. It's maddening sometimes because I'll get home and my youngest son probably is a high I. He's a high something because he is on 100 all the time. The garage door opens and he's sitting there like, "Hey, mommy, how's your day?" I'm like, "Look, dude, calm down. 6 o'clock. I have no more." So I don't like when I come home and I don't have anything left for the kids.
Yeah, that is tough.
Yeah, so it does take a lot out. It's tough. And even throughout the day, if I'm almost like on E, I'll see somebody coming through the door and I'll look at Bill and say, "I have no more. You take that."
Yeah.
And they're looking for me, guys. I just got a service advisor 2 years ago, and I think both of you know that I need another one. But I always thought I needed somebody else in there with me. But they still won't talk to him. They come and look for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that I had to back away, right? Because that was what we had in our shop. And at the time I had been doing everything, right? I was the advisor. I was the technician. I was everything. And one of the things that I found was I literally had to back out of that. Because it was exhausting, right? And like you said, there are times that I don't have any more. something's gone wrong,
Yeah.
something's come up. And I'm sure you can relate to this, when I go home and you brought it up. So I want to talk about it a little bit. When I go home and I see, I've got a 2-year-old and a 10-year-old, and I've got a wife, and they're my whole world. And there were times that I would go home and I was so exhausted that the last thing I wanted to do was have a conversation. The last thing that I wanted to do was play. The last thing that I wanted to do was be dad. I wanted to go lay down and go to sleep. And I'm kind of like the emotional guy. When things go wrong, I take them really personal. And I feel bad, and I'm like, oh, I should have done this. I should have done this. And I run it over in my head over and over and over again, trying to come up with a solution. And the reality is there's not really a solution to it. It just is. And I couldn't have controlled it. I couldn't have changed it. But that stops me from being dad. And I think that's something that a lot of owners miss. And I know what Dutch is going to say, like, the blessings of tomorrow are paid for with today's sacrifices. I get it. I really do.
Yeah, but a 2-year-old?
Yeah. You don't get that.
You don't get that.
Yeah.
You don't get that
2-year-old back. Yeah.
And so, I think
I've been so lucky to have my kids at work with me a lot.
Right.
But they're at that age that can do that. You can't have a 2-year-old in the shop.
Well, and the shop's right next to the house, so I can walk over there and say hello. But it's one thing to be at home. It's another thing to be wholly present at home. It's another thing to be wholly present as mom or dad and not just inundated with work. Because at the end of the day, you mentioned Rick. And Rick has been my business coach for years. And for some reason, everybody else watches his videos and they get piped up. And I'm like, oh my God, he's going to yell at me for that. But, long story short, we've been working together for a long time. And he had to get on to me over and over and over again. Like, look, dude, you got to be a dad. You got to let this stuff go. If you run out of cars to fix, that's a problem. You're looking at this like you've got to fix every single car that's in the bay today. And you're looking at it like you need to make sure every single customer is as happy as they can get. You have unrealistic expectations. You're never going to run out of cars to work on. You've got to make time for this, right? You've got to stop devoting all of your energy, all of your emotion, all of your time to this shop, and you got to be dad. And I think that that's so easy, for some of us to get into. We get caught in this trap. And I think it's sad because you wake up 10 years later and you look back and say, what in the hell have I done? Right? And it's so easy to get there.
Yeah.
That's where you're compartmentalized though. Like I don't answer, or I try to avoid work emails during the weekend and text messages and things like that, or you try to handle them really quickly and not to dwell on them, because they can ruin your entire weekend when you get that car that you just finished Friday night and it's Saturday in the middle of the day. The car's making a noise. Like, come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Imagine living next to the shop.
It's a crisis for the customer.
Imagine.
Yeah, I know. That's nuts.
Imagine living next to the shop and it's 2 a.m. and you hear a tow truck pull in and you pull up your phone and you see on the rollback them unloading that car you finished Friday afternoon. And you're like, oh my God,
Oh, that's too close.
Yeah.
I didn't know you stayed beside your shop like that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm glad I don't live in Chapel Hill on purpose, because I would hate to see these people in the grocery store, because that would be exhausting.
Yes, that's exactly how I am too. Like, if it's work hours, I'll go and I'll say hello, because you see your customers.
Yeah.
But I live 10 minutes or so, 10, 12 minutes away from the shop.
No.
And it's a completely different area. Like those customers don't come down here. We don't go up there. It's separated enough that, it's a completely different neighborhood. So you never see those customers ever.
So no, I live close to Jay's shop. I don't know if you've been to Jay's shop in Durham. So I'm not too far from there. I don't think I could live close to where I worked. I was in church one day and in the sanctuary, and the lady, hey, Tonnika, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at her like, honey, I have no idea who you are. You think I'm your best friend at work, and I said, I have no idea who you are, but I'm sure you're great. I'm just like looking at it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't see you beside your car. Don't know who you are. It's a game I play with myself. You're just a crazy lady hollering at me at church. So anyway, but it's exhausting. But I've been really lucky. I had my kids with me at work since birth.
Yeah.
And they'd had a nanny for about 4 years each, and she only lived a mile or 2 miles away. But I think the customers seeing me being mom, they see the boys, they're watching them grow. They know that I'm trying to do everything, and I think they respect that, because it was so funny. I had a customer say, hey, why are you not open on Saturday? Because 1, I like my kids, and 2, I won't want to. Why? Why are you not at work on Saturday? Yep. And then he laughed. It's like, yeah, I can't give you everything. They get on my nerves, but I want to go home. Yeah.
I'm going to use that line.
Yeah, why are you not working? I've been
saying because my wife would kill me, but really it's because she wouldn't be happy. She doesn't like it if I do leave and hey, I got to go up to the shop on a Saturday. She doesn't like that. She wants me to be home with the family, right? And I get that. But also, I just didn't want to work Saturdays any longer.
Yeah.
Where I had to be somewhere and I had to open to the public. Forget that noise there. But I'm going to try that. Why aren't you working on Saturday?
Why are you not working on Saturday? Okay, there you go. Next. So, but like I said, you have to disconnect. You have to let it go. I try to let it go. I try not to be in this office. I do a lot of financial work at home. Do my taxes at home. I do my big accounting here in the office, so I can have a big mess everywhere, and I can focus without being interrupted, so I can count to 100 without someone coming in and saying A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So I can focus. My youngest kid will come in here and look at me like I'm crazy. Like we're supposed to go for a walk at 8:00, and so he's cracked the door and rolled his eyes at me. So he's gonna fuss me out later, but he'll be fine. He can't fight me yet.
Well, hold on, we need his perspective on the podcast too. I mean, we got to hear from him too. I mean,
we don't want to hear from Jordan. That's the future of the shop. He's a trip, man.
You know, it's interesting because
do.
We've been friends on Facebook long enough. I've kind of seen them grow up. You know what I mean? It seems like when we became friends, they seemed a lot younger, and now like holy cow,
they're huge. Like Santana's, he's like I'm getting ready to go and do a lot of traveling with my oldest son because he's being recruited for football by various colleges. And my customers are like, oh, what is he doing? Who is he looking at? And everyone's like, I didn't even know you were paying attention, because I do allow some customers to be my Facebook friends because they can see me act out. But yeah, I didn't even know a lot of my customers were so connected. So the boy's been blessed. So they're kind of like my marketing.
There you go. That's awesome.
I think they see the family
official though. You gotta actually put them on the payroll. See, that's what you do, especially if they're young enough.
The youngest one works, and he will do as told. He'll go out there and help the guys. That oldest kid of mine, he doesn't know a Toyota from a Tesla. It is hilarious. It is a joke in the household. Santana cares nothing about a car. Nothing. He worked last summer. I made him work, and it was like pulling teeth. But I wanted him to know basics. But he'd rather go out there and cut all the grass, clean up, than work on a car.
Right.
He does not want to do it. And he's not going to come in there and talk to customers because, one, he's probably going to look at them like, why are you here? Why are you still talking to me? I can, like David, he's probably not, you and Santana get along. Santana's a Gemini too. He's hilarious. I don't know who I'm going to get. I don't know who I'm going to get with him. But Jordan is really good. He's going to be the one in the office drinking and driving.
So I got to ask, you've been in that shop since you were a little kid, right? And I kind of have a perspective of what it's like to be a business owner's child, because my family, I remember we took a couple vacations, but my mama and daddy have been working 364 days a year since way before I was born.
Big side,
right?
Big side.
And they work 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's just what they do. And so I remember a lot of things, but it never really occurred to me that we weren't spending time together. It never came across as all mom and dad think about is work. That's just what we did, right? It didn't ever seem like that. What was your experience like growing up in a shop?
The same. So My dad started the shop 1980, and we started off as a body shop. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Started off as a body shop 1980 in Carborough. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he lived, in my mind, it was a million miles, but about 5 miles from the shop at that time. And my parents were not together when I was, well, period. I tell anybody it's a joke that I was their high school project. So like my mom was 15 and dad was 16 when they had me. So I'm really blessed because statistically, you know, who knows?
Right.
People don't know their dad when they're born, you know what I'm saying? That kind of situation. But I'm daddy's girl has always been, and I spent every summer with him that I can ever remember. But he had these 2 dogs, Smokey and Bandit, Doberman Pinschers, so a red one and a black one. And dad worked from sun up to sundown. Sometimes I'm pretty sure he spent the night at the shop.
Right.
But my job was I would get up in the morning, I don't know, 8 to 10, and the dogs would walk me to work.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so this is the 80s. I'm walking by myself as I'm less than 10 years old. But these dogs walked me to work. They were well trained. And I would take the path, and I remember walking by the Napa Auto Store. I would walk by CarQuest. I would walk by Domino's, and I would talk to these people. I'd walk by Hatley's, there's another garage in the area. And I knew all these people growing up. I still know them. And they knew I was on the way to work. That was Brown's daughter. And then he'd take me home, get me in bed, and the dogs babysat me for a little bit. And then, of course, he had other people that watched after me. But he worked all the time. But everybody in my family works like that. My grandmother was like that. Everybody is a workaholic. I do remember vacations when we would go, Dad would sleep the whole time.
Yeah.
He really would be knocked out.
Right.
He's such a great granddad now. It is hilarious to watch him with the boys because all he has to do is play.
Yeah.
Like he took the baby to Bosco Beach. He took a mudding. They just have a ball. So his work is paid off, but I'm used to it. So I don't know anything different and I don't have any regrets.
Right. Right. And
I'm not going to be on Oprah saying, oh, my dad worked so much and I wish he spent more time with me. I'm glad of the time that we had together.
You know, and I kind of look at it the same way. And it's funny because they talk about my grandfather and on my dad's side, I was very young when he died, but they laughed because they took him to the beach one time in his entire life. And Dad said, we walked out on the beach and said, we just want you to see it. You need to see it. It's beautiful. And said, RJ walked out onto the beach, looked up, looked down, said, all right, I've seen it. I'm ready to go home, go back to work. You know, and that was the life that they lived. And that's the life my parents have lived their entire life. And, you know, I think it's easy for us all to say that you can't be happy and do that. You can be happy and do that, but you've got to know what's important. Right. I still remember coming home on Sunday mornings. They would close and we'd go to church on Sunday morning and we'd come home and Mama would have a chicken in the oven that she put in before we went to church. And we get back and she'd make biscuits and chicken and, you know, and I still remember that to this day. And it never seemed odd that we worked all the time. It never seemed odd that we worked right or lived right above where we worked. It didn't seem odd. It just seemed like that's what our family does. But they were mom and dad and they loved me and they cared about me and my brothers. They were engaged. They didn't disengage. They weren't mean. They weren't hateful because things went wrong at work. They were just happy all the time. And I think that's one of the only areas that I look at and say, hey, I've got to work on this because the auto repair industry can be so stressful. And people can be so mean and so hateful. You got to be really careful. You don't take that home, right? You know,
people can be really mean and hateful.
Yeah. Yeah. Our other business is all about people being happy. I'll never forget. We had a lady fall in our tourist attraction one time. She came out and Dad had seen it on the security cameras and he's eating a cheeseburger laughing when she comes back through the door. And I want to say all because he laughed at her. They got something like $1.3 million from the insurance company because he's over here like cackling. She comes in, she's like, I'm hurt. And he's like, hold on, let me rewind it and I'll show you what happened. You know, that's just my dad. And, and he's always just had a good time and not worried about it. And I think as I age, I pick up on more and more of that. And people will come in and they're like super serious and super upset. And I'm like, yeah, hate to hear that, but it's going to be a great day, buddy.
That is me all day. I mean, I remember this one, and sometimes I'm like, oh my God, you're going to overstep your boundaries. So this guy comes in, he's got all these problems with his van. And he's like, oh, so you're going to throw the van away. I said, the van hasn't done anything to you, and you haven't done anything to it. So this is not a van problem. You broke the van. Okay. You didn't do anything for the last 6 months that I've been telling you. Now you got a $4,000 bill and it's all your fault. And he looked at me like, are you serious right now? It's like, listen, dude, you're not going to blame us on this van. Van didn't do anything.
Yep.
I told you on this date. But I do it, and I do it with humor because I really want you to think about it. The van didn't break down. It didn't. Yeah. I've been telling you one by one, and it's all coming together now, and you want to throw the van away. You did it.
It sounds like you're teaching your clients to have a different thought process. Think outside the box. Like break that stressful situation up and say, hey, let's look at this from a different perspective.
I do that a lot. I have fun with that. And I promise you, so today is Thursday. Tuesday, a customer called and she said, Tonnika, do you remember you told me that a car usually gives you a sign and that I need to pay attention to the symptoms? And I said, yeah. You were listening to Aunt Nika? That's what Aunt Nika? She was like, yeah. She was like, so my car is starting really slow in the morning, but it starts. I said, so one morning you're going to get in there and it's going to give you the finger and not start. So won't you go ahead and plan to get it fixed instead of it breaking down and messing up your whole morning? And she said, you told me and I listened. I said, I wish my kids listened to me the same way, but I'll take that. I'll just sit there and try to talk to them in human. Like, you guys are real technical. You started conversation. You're real technical, this, that, whatever. And I'm like, listen, honey, if you don't fix these brakes, you're going to have to put your foot out the door to stop this van. And that might hurt.
My service advisor told this lady, she came in and the AC compressor was making noise and she thought something was wrong with the engine and this, that, and the other. And we just pulled the AC relay. And he's like, is she going to be able to make it home? And I'm like, yeah, she'll make it home. But those tires are completely bald. Like, she better be right with the Lord before she takes off with those tires. So he walks into the lobby and he's like, well, we pulled the relay, so it's the AC compressor's not going to kick on, so it won't make any noise. He goes, but those tires, man, you're driving those tires like Jesus take the wheel. And they looked at him and they started laughing.
Hey,
because it makes you human. What? It makes you not a person that's just trying to sell something.
Yeah.
You're not, yes, you came to me. I didn't come find you. But if I don't tell you what's wrong with your car, then you should be mad at me. I'm going to tell you what's wrong. And sister, this is what we're going to do. You need to do this yesterday. All right. You can save some money for some tires. Get ready for this. And, or you're about to die if you keep driving this car. And I'll say, you know you're about to die, right? Look at this. Come here. Look at this. And just come on out here with me. I'm not trying to be, I'm not following a script. There's no, I ain't got time for that. That's not who I am. So let's look at this tire. This is a May pop. May pop today, may pop tomorrow. I don't know what you want to do. Now, if you leave after I have shown you this, that is on you. I don't want you to think that I'm selling you things. These is things that are wrong.
Yep.
Well, my uncle will do it. Well, sweetie, why your uncle didn't do your oil change?
That's it.
Those are my favorite. I'm there to make them see that I'm a human. And if I become a crook, if Brown's Automotive is all about just taking your money, then that's my name. And I don't have anywhere else to go. So I'm not going to ruin my own name. That's ridiculous. I'm going to teach you. We're not going to talk car. We're going to talk common sense. You need brakes. You got to stop the car. It's not an option. You need tires. It's not an option. These things are options. You should do them. I strongly suggest, like a speed limit, that you should do these things. But a stop sign, you might want to stop at that, Joe. You just might want to do this.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. So, and we're from the South, right? David doesn't
from the South.
understand the South. And I'm in a different part of the
It's very
South than
confusing
you
to me.
are, even though we're really close. We're from the mountain South, right?
You're the mountains.
We still got the mountain folk up here. And exactly.
I'll send you a documentary.
And
They make up words. No, I'm not kidding. They make up
they
words
are
from
not
county
made
to
up.
county.
It's Scotch Irish, bro.
No. The
Are you talking about
documentary
the
said
wild
that they
whites
just.
of whatever, West Virginia? Have you
No.
guys seen that one?
No, this is North Carolina. Like this is around where Lucas lives. There, these look like very nice people. I find it hilarious. So it's a fascinating documentary. And it was like what 97, 98?
Yeah.
When they shoot that thing.
Yeah. I would say it's actually in the 2000s.
Really?
Yeah.
And anyway, they were just talking about how they would just make up words. And they talked about some of the words like, oh yeah, this word. Yeah, I know that means this.
Side-goggle.
And some of it is like
That's side-goggle.
You've yes.
Yeah, what he said.
What'd that mean
Absolutely.
again?
Side-goggle.
Side-goggle, yeah.
So but here's the thing: is we're from the South.
Oh yeah, so that's crooked.
Yes,
that's what it meant. Yes, the wall.
Oh, cattywampus.
Yeah, cattywampus,
Like
same
that.
thing.
Yeah, like
Side-goggle,
cattywampus,
cattywampus.
yeah,
Well,
there you go.
So but people here are used to us, right? Like they don't look at you
Right.
funny when you talk. People here, we got ASU, so sometimes people look at me a little bit funny until they get used to it. But for the most part, everybody just nods and smiles, and we go on about our way. Well, Rick, who you talked about his videos a while ago, you notice he's got that northern accent.
It's kind of funny.
I will never forget as long as I live. He comes down here all the time and he's in the shop and I'm explaining why one of my clients needs a timing belt. And I swear to God, Rick looks right up at him. He says, "Sir, do you go to church on Sunday?" And he said, "Sure do." He said, "Well, I tell you what, you better put an extra $5 in that pan when it comes by because it's only by the grace of God your car's still on the road." I'm like, oh my God. And that fella looks up at him and I mean, he just looked and nodded and turned around and walked out the door.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny because you're with Appalachian States up there, but UNC is right down the street.
Yeah.
So we're Cary, Apex, all the technology companies around there. So people move in this community. It's like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood on crack. And it's called Briar Chapel. And it's the people from up north. And when they come in here and they're moving 100,000 miles an hour and they need everything yesterday and they want to negotiate and they're going to tell me, I let them know with my Southern charm, like, hey, slow down, brother. This is the South. You're talking too fast.
That's
what we doing? No, we ain't gonna do that. I need. I'll tell you what I can do for you. This is what I can do. And I love that. This is my new thing. I don't like to tell people no, but I learned that no is very powerful. So instead of no, because people don't like no, I say, listen, can't do that, but this is what I can do. Will that work for you? And if it doesn't, then you on your own, homie.
Yeah.
Because we don't do that. I'll tell them we don't do it in the South. I need my inspection done. It's due. I was like, yeah, that's $13.60. I ain't thinking about that money. I can do it on next Wednesday.
Right. And
you
the
keep
thing
talking,
is,
it'll be Wednesday after next.
And look, and the thing is that it's setting that expectation. You do it one time and they expect it every other time. If you set the expectation.
If they're from the Northeast, they're not going to understand. They're like, I'll find somebody else.
And
not in Chapel Hill, you won't, because we're close.
There's
because I throw no shop under the bridge. We talk and I'm like, look, you might want to not fix that fool's car. I'm just letting you know he on the way. Bye. I will call Chapel Hill Tire. I will call Sanders, and I was like, don't do that. He's crazy. Don't do it.
There's
it's on the way.
There's a tow company in town, and it reminds me of them. I was in there one time, and this kid came in. He was upset because they had towed his car, and he comes in and he starts, you son of a bitch, this and that. And the first thing he said he said, how much is it? And they said, it's $150. And it's, you son of a bitch, this and that. And he said, okay,
it's $100.
Yep. And dude, I'm telling you what, it went on and on and on until this kid goes outside, calls a Boone police officer. Boone police officer shows up, comes up to the door, and he explained the whole scenario. He said, you know what I would do? The kid said, what? He said, I'd shut my damn mouth and pay the man. He's got your car. You know?
I can't remember which one of you I sent those recordings of the young man that got a little bit out of hand with me. I was sister girl and he was threatening me and your business is legitimate. I'm going to sue you. I know people that will come and F you up, this, that, and whatever. So I simply we installed a battery in his car. One battery. And he wanted me to do something electrical with some aftermarket things, cameras and stuff. And I said, I'm not doing that. You should take it back to where you got it from. That's not what's draining your battery because that's not the problem. But I see what you got going on. You need to take it back there. You incompetent, blah, blah, blah. I recorded him. I called the local tow company. I said, hey, Brooke, young lady that owns it now, her dad's retired. I got a car that you guys brought up here. I want you to listen to this. Listen to what he said. He called me everything but a B and an N word. Everything but. And I said, so I want you to come take this car off my lot and take it back to his house. And right now I'm smiling and talking. This is what I call being nicey. Because, you need to get this car away from here and now. And she said, really? I said, really? Just tow it back to his house. I'll pay for it. I just want to be over with. I can't. I'm not going to do this today. So they come pick up the car. And the guy is disabled. I don't know because he had an accident, he broke his leg, or if he's really disabled. But at that point, I couldn't care any less. The tow truck driver towed the car back to his house, blocked the driveway, blocked everything. I mean, the way he dropped the car off must have been horrible because this guy calls back and has a fit. And so he's calling the cops and he calls Chatham County Sheriff's Department. Chatham County Sheriff's Department, those are all Facebook friends. The next county over, his mom is a customer. His brother is my dad's good best friend. I can walk to their house and eat in the kitchen, just open the fridge if I wanted to. Go ahead, call them. Call them. Yeah, and I let them listen to the recording. They just left. What if an ambulance? If the ambulance have to come for you, I'm sorry. I would love to see the picture of how he dropped that car in that man's yard, but he was mad. But we don't do that here, sir. This is the South because we'll pay you back.
That's it. You respect one another.
Slow and drawn out.
You
gonna
respect one another.
Yeah, we're not going to do that here today, sir. Not today.
I remember
people try it.
Oh yeah, they try it all the time, and I remember there was this I had so much respect for him. He owned a shop in town for every bit of 50 years, and his name was Johnny. And I had this really interesting experience because I'm a shop owner. I've known Johnny my entire life, and Johnny is a Volkswagen expert. I mean, to say the man was a Volkswagen expert is an understatement, right? And one of my employees had a Volkswagen. He took it over there because he wanted something specifically done that Johnny did. He took it to Johnny, and Johnny was just really straight up and rude and harsh. And he said, man, he charged me like $500 to do that. And I said, that's a little steep, but is that what he told you? He said, yeah, that's what he said. And I said, well, I'll take you over there, get your card, and you can pay the man, and we can go. Walked through the door, and he recognized that we were together. He thought the guy was a college kid. And he said, oh, man, don't even, I tell you what, $200, don't even worry about it. We'll be fine. So him and this guy walked off. They started talking. And he said, I was reflecting on the fact that he had always been so rude to this guy. And I asked his wife, I said, why is Johnny like that? And she said, Lucas, she said, Johnny has spent his life making every client who's walked through this door's problems his. And he's taken every single thing that's ever happened personally. Everybody that's ever been upset, he's taken it personally, like it's a personal attack against him, and it's made him bitter. And I thought, man, I better never do that, And I just remembered that ever since. And that was probably the first year I started the shop, and it was.
You have to give it back to them. Don't take it home. Yeah. I take home stuff when people are having a hard time, and I want to figure out how to help them.
Yeah.
But if you're just being a jerk, I'm going to give it back to you. I'm going to let you, and I'm going to give you some of mine. You're not giving that to me because my job is to help you. I didn't break your car. I'm not responsible for your money troubles.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. Somehow, when that one fool comes through, God, or whoever you guys believe, God sends 3 more to say, forget him. I got 3 more back here for you. I promise you, this was last year, and I don't, some guys hate coupons. I do coupons. The guy comes in, he calls the Friday before, and he says, well, how much is an oil change for this Mini Cooper? Give me a quote for an oil change, air filters, and blah, blah, blah. He decides to do the oil change. I'll do the air filters myself, make the appointment for Monday. I do the work. He comes back in with a coupon and tells me, you're going to do it for this price. I said, I'm not. You should have presented the coupon. What I can do is give you the discount that's allowed on the coupon. And that's what I can do because this doesn't apply to your car. But he knew this when he started this argument. Yeah. I know that. But before he got there with his drama, I had a really good customer. I call him Coach. He used to play in the NFL, and he's a great guy. Coach comes in. He says, Tonnika, I thought I could put this headlight bulb in by myself. I can't. I know you're going to come out here and do this in a second and make me look bad. Don't worry about it, Coach. I'll be right there. So Mini Cooper guy decides that he is going to start dropping F-bombs. And he's not going to pay for his car. And this is, bait, bait. You got me in here. You're not earning a coupon. I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going on Instagram or whatever, the internet, and tell people you're horrible. Okay, that's great. So he's going on and on and on. Coach comes up behind him. This is a shorter guy. Coach is a big guy. He comes up, puts his hand on his shoulder. He says, guy, buddy, I think it's time for you to go. Had my back. And just looked at a little tap like, I think it's time for you to go. Let's go.
Yeah.
And nobody believes that if you got 500 great reviews, that one fool that's having a rant. And the way I answered him back was definitely with the help of ASOG. It's like, what do I do? Hey, sorry you're not happy. This is just not the shop for you.
Amen.
Be blessed. I made myself look good. I gave it back to him. This is not the place. I'm sorry I couldn't make you happy. Okay, bye-bye. Now, bye-bye. Yeah. But I've got so many customers that have my back. And when those people come through, like I said, God sends you so many more to say, you're doing a great job. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Let's keep going forward. But me learning to give people their own mess back, say, hey, you're not going to leave this on my porch. That's like my greatest lesson in the last year.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I'm not taking that home.
Yeah.
I'll take home that mom whose van is broke down for the 100th time and she can't afford it. And I'm trying to figure out how I can help her. I'll take that home. Nothing else. Man, bye. I got kids at home. My car outside.
That's it. And I really, I had never thought about it. The fact that you say, look, my car's outside and it runs fine. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not
I'm
my problem.
Not my problem. Not my monkey. Not my show.
That's it. That's a pretty powerful thought process because, I think it all comes down to like what we put in, right? The thought process, the mindset that we have, what we're willing to give power to, right? Like if we're willing to really feed into that and we start thinking about it, I'm the guy who gets mad and then I think about what that person's saying inside their head. You idiot. You don't even know what they're saying. You don't even know what their thoughts are. Like, why are you even trying this? And yet I'm over here raging about it, just knowing what they're saying and what they're thinking. 99.99999% of the time, I'm way off base. Right?
Yeah.
And
so my people have a saying, you've got to let that go. What they eat don't make you fat.
That's it. Yep. Exactly.
Don't worry about that. You can't worry about that, babe.
Yep. Let it
I've
go.
got terrible luck. What they're eating is probably going to. It probably
Me
is.
too, man. I got a couple of calories off of it. But most of what they're eating is not making you fat. That ain't your business.
Well, listen.
Because they probably have something going on.
Yeah. Amen.
And they feel like this is somebody, you've got to take it because the customer's always right and blah, blah, blah. Dude, this is not a corporation. I ain't got to fix your car. Okay? It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to come at me with a better attitude, I will help you. I love it. I love the fact that my numbers are so good that sometimes you can just bless somebody.
Yeah. Amen.
You can do it.
Absolutely.
And, I talk a lot of junk. I got a lot of humor. I have a lot of attitude, but at the end of the day, the fact that I can bless somebody who wasn't expecting it, who didn't ask for it, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Don't tell me nothing. That's what I can brag on. I get the Oprah Winfrey. You get a car. You get a car. Everybody gets a car. You get a free filter. Get it. Wash that man's car. Oh my God, you washed the car. Absolutely. Because you know what? I can. It's my prerogative. I can serve that way. I have a servant's heart. I love people, but I'm not your servant. I'm a servant of the Lord. And this is what I can do to give back. This is part of my tithing. I can do this. And it makes me happy to see you happy that mom's van that had Cheetos and Cheerios everywhere, I vacuumed it because she's not a bad mom. She's just tired. I've been there. So I can bless her. And it all comes back. And that's where I get my customers from. It really is. And I don't do it just to get a customer. I do it because that's what makes me come alive.
Right.
That's it.
And I think the more you do that, I think the more you do that, the more you realize that that giving is small fries in the big scheme of thing. It's just a small little piece. But the other thing is that people begin to take note. It was around Christmas time. I had one of our really good long-term clients, and he does a lot of his own work, but he brings really complex stuff to us to do. And he walked in, he had an envelope in his hand. And, this is when all the mask and everything's going on. So he's got a mask on. It took me a second to figure out who it was. And he walked through the door and he handed me an envelope. And I said, "What's this?" He said, "I want you to take care of somebody who needs it. I'm in a better place than I was when we first met. And you helped me. And I want to be able to pay it forward to somebody else." And I couldn't even remember.
The best?
Oh yeah, I couldn't even remember. And it was so crazy because 2 days later we have a client who gets slammed in one of our loaner vehicles, and it's totaled the loaner vehicle. She's in the hospital, and it was crazy because the amount of money that he gave plus the amount of money 3 other people came in and did the exact same thing. I took that money and I added it up, and it was the exact amount to fix that lady's car.
There you go.
And I think that sometimes, and David laughs because we talk about the South and the way things are. Here we're a community, right? And the people we care about and our community is a whole lot more than just dollar bills or fixing cars. They're part of who we are. And so to me, I'll fix their cars. I don't care, whatever, it's dollar bills, whatever. Throw them out the window if I have to. If we become so focused on the dollar bill that we forget the human aspect of it, why are we doing it anyway? Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When COVID started and everything was shutting down, I had customers, "Are you guys all right? Let me prepay for services." Seriously, money is rolling in and I didn't need it. I was like, we're good. Well, Tonnika, you better take it and you better put it towards my account. And I'm like, because these are the people from the Wrinkle Ranch. And it's like, okay, yes, ma'am. Some people you just can't say no to.
Right.
Your grandma gives you that dollar bill. You just take it and say, okay, yes, ma'am. So that it felt like such a great community. And then I sent out an email like, "No, let's not give money to me. We're good. I want you guys to go and buy from this restaurant, such and such owes this restaurant, this pizza parlor. Let's do this." And so it's funny how we all just came together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I love about my job. Dad says, well, everybody says it's all cheesy when people say it, but if you're doing what you love, then it's not work.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know how to work on no car, y'all. I can't. I can change oil and I can put some air in your tires. I can change some air filters. I can map out a job like nobody else's business. But technical stuff, never turned the wrench. Daddy wasn't having this girl with dirty hands.
Right.
Grew up in the shop. He wouldn't let me do anything. But I love to serve and I love to help. And that's why I don't think I could do anything else. I can't imagine any other job that I could have where unless I'm just helping people one-on-one.
I've got a question. It's a little bit of a change of subject. And it can be a touchy subject, but you're a female shop owner, and you own easily one of the best shops in North Carolina. I mean, that's a hands down kind of deal. And it makes me think. I'll never forget this, and we've talked about this before on the podcast. That I will never forget. I had a gentleman come in one time who told my wife, who was at the front counter, and I want to say she was pregnant with our second one. He came in and told her the best place for her was in the kitchen, and he didn't want to talk to her about his car. And now he was escorted off the property, and we're just going to leave it at that. What has been your experience? That's only happened once in 15 years. What's been your experience?
My dad's a Marine.
Right.
I'm not soft. A sister can cry now. I can break down and cry in a minute. But you're not going to intimidate me. I am going to stand up to you. I have a lot of male cousins. I'm like we don't have a lot of females in our family. I don't know what's going on with that. We can get that checked out. But fighting my cousins and my uncles. Well, my uncle is 3 years older than me. He's an uncle brother.
Right.
He would tell me, you might not win every fight, but damn it, let them know you were there.
Amen.
You scratch, you bite, you kick, you tear. You might not win it, but they better know you were there. And they would put me in the figure 4 and tickle me until I go to the bathroom myself. I was tortured, so I'm tough skin. I am pregnant with my oldest son, and I was a big girl. I mean, this kid was 9 pounds when he was born, and he was 2 weeks early.
Wow.
I remember in the body shop, we had fixed the front end grill lights, not even past the rated support, on a Tahoe or Suburban. And this man comes in the office, his heater core goes out. Heater core, guys. You SOBs messed up my car. Whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-whoop. Cussing. And my dad says he remembers me coming from behind the desk, pregnant and all, and taking this man by the top of his collar and escorting him out the door. And talking, because we had this fish aquarium Dad built, so he had this huge office, a big corporate office, and he could see in the lobby. And he said he couldn't get out there fast enough because he thought he was going to fight the man while it's preggers. But anyway, I've had people that tried me or try to talk down to me or get to somebody, the owner. And Bill's I don't know, I think Bill's 60 years old, white man that works in the front office with me. And a lot of people the new people assume that he's the owner. And he loves to put it in their face. No, that's the boss right there.
Oh, that's
my boss. She's the owner. And he said that's just who he is. He loves saying it. But my dad, even when my dad was still working, people would say, I want to speak to the owner. And I would be like, okay, then you want to talk to him? Dad, they want to speak to the owner. And he'd listen to him and say, what did she say? Well, that's it. And he'd walk away.
Right.
He's always had my back.
Man, that's
make people feel small real quick. He would do it like, what did she say? Okay. Well, that's what it is. And he'd sit back his head. That's it. He hated the front office anyway. He hated office work. So people will try you just like the dude with the Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
But I am really good at apologizing to you and making you feel guilty in the end. I think all women can do that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I'm sorry that you are such a jerk and I didn't make you happy, but I really apologize. You just sit there and talk to somebody and you're just saying, I'm sorry. And it's all your fault. But I'm smiling the whole time I'm saying it. I'm really good at that. But people don't intimidate me. I can imagine some women go through that, but I don't think a lot so much anymore.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I live in La La Land.
I don't. And
no, that's true. It starts with your mindset, though. You were just talking about it. You don't let anybody, leave that stuff on your porch.
Yeah, you're the crazy one.
Same attitude. Yeah, well, people walk in with that kind of attitude. they're just maybe projecting or whatever. I mean, they're going to try to make you feel small, try to make you feel stupid, and try to make you feel however they want to try to make you feel. And either you accept it or you don't. If you don't, it is what it is.
Yeah,
I don't.
If you knew the number of people that have stormed out the front doors of this place upset because my wife looked at them and smiled and said, "Bless your heart." And
bless your heart.
Right, bless your heart.
Yeah.
Just storm right out to
We're
the
not
front
going to
door.
go. Okay, then.
Right.
Okay, bye-bye.
Right. Have a nice day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not here. Have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Right.
You just smile and you do it.
Yeah.
I've had people come back and apologize for not realizing that I was the owner. Like, oh, I didn't mean to say, I did not mean, I didn't think. Like younger guys, I had this one muscle dude comes in and he's making an appointment and he's talking to Bill and I sit there and I was answering his question, but I guess he's just like, well, I'm just going to talk to Bill because he's a white guy and he's a dude. We've got testosterone and we're going to have this conversation. And Bill couldn't answer his questions. And so he went home. I don't know if he just looked it up on Google or whatever, came back and he's like, I'm so sorry. I did not realize this was your shop. And he's like, did you charge me more for being a jerk? And he was funny about it, but
I don't
let people, they can't have it. Can't have my power.
The guy who did that to my wife, it was about 3 or 4 months later. We went to a comedy show in the middle of town here, and I had a mutual friend with us, and he turned around and he was talking to that mutual friend, and he said, "So, you ever talk to that jackass Lucas anymore?" And he said, "Oh no." Turn around and ask him. He's right behind you. He turned around and he looked at me and he got up and he moved seats and he never said another word and just smiled and nodded every time I've seen him since. He's never said another foul word ever again. So
people will try you.
That's it. You don't have to take it home though. Right. And I think that's the biggest takeaway for me is as a parent, you can't take it home because you teach your kids to take it home. And, I saw my parents take butt chewings from time to time or things go wrong. And, I've never seen them take anything super personal. Right. And I tell my kids, my wife, everybody in the shop, it's like the penguins in Madagascar, smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Smile and wave. That is perfect. I love it.
That's my motto.
I do get home and I will sit in the garage for a little bit before I come in the house.
Yeah.
The youngest one does this thing, and he's done it for a couple years now. He opens the garage and says, "So, how's your day?" And I was like, it was really worky today. Work was very worky, and we're not going to talk about that. What we're going to eat. And I let it go. It's in the garage. I left it in the garage. Or they'll know if I just have to come in the house, get a glass of wine, and go upstairs. And I'll say, just walk away.
Yep.
Like, give mommy a minute. And they're like, well, work was very worky today. And I'll come back out the house into the house, into general population with everybody else and let that stuff go. Yep. Because, I just had my oldest son yesterday. I just had him yesterday. He's a senior next year.
Yep.
It's going to be all about my baby.
Yep.
It's going to be all about, you don't get to get all that stuff back. Right. They're at home with their kids. They're not worried about their cars any more than we should be. They did it. My car's out front. You can't take it home.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the ASOG podcast. If you'd like to catch these episodes early, you can do so by becoming a patron. Just go to asog.site and click on the Become a Patron Now button. Becoming a patron helps support the show, gets you several perks, and is tax deductible. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and on YouTube. And as always, you can direct any questions, comments, or concerns to my email. My email address is david@asog.site. That's david@asog.site. Until next time.